Hey guys, what's up? Kyle from Redneck Outdoors here. And today I'm going to do a video on the thing that's on everybody's mind at the moment. And that's the Second Amendment and the AR-15 rifles and some components for the AR-15 rifles. So first of all, let's cover what the Second Amendment says. The Second Amendment says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Those are the words of the Second Amendment written by the Founding Fathers. Now, those last four words there are the most important. Shall not be infringed. Okay? Infringed, as we all know, is not messed with or anyway. The literal definition of infringe is to actively break the terms of a law, agreement, or etc. To act so as to limit or undermine something or to encroach upon something. So, to limit or undermine, let's take a look at that there for a minute. What is the government doing actively right now? They are undermining and limiting the Second Amendment. They are saying you do not need an AR-15. Well, who says so? You, the government? It doesn't necessarily matter what you say, because the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not be undermined, which is what they are doing at the moment. They are undermining the Second Amendment, saying, look, we don't care what that says. You don't need this. They're also limiting your Second Amendment rights. They're saying you do not need an AR-15. You do not need a bump fire stock. You do not need large capacity magazines. Okay, now they're not saying that you can't own something like this, which, yes, is a great home defense weapon. This is a 12-gauge shotgun, pump action, and it's a great home defense weapon. It's good for hunting. A 12 gauge is a very versatile weapon, good for anything. They're saying, look, you can own those, but you don't need an AR-15, because the Founding Fathers did not have the AR-15 in mind. They're saying they had things like muskets in mind. Okay, if they had muskets in mind, then why can I own that? The reason I can own that, and the reason I can own an AR-15, is because the First Amendment was not written with muskets in mind. It was not written with single-shot shotguns in mind, or ball and cap pistols in mind, or, whatever. It was written for the weapons of the time period which you are in, and which your Second Amendment is still allowed in. So nowadays, everybody's got social media. Everybody's got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. You got it all, you do it all, you use it all. What do you do on there? You voice your opinions, because it's your right to free speech. Everybody's on there, you want to voice your opinions. You say it's your right to free speech. If that's so, then why does the Second Amendment not cover an AR-15? The First Amendment covers modern day technology, correct? Yes, this is true. And the reason being is because nobody uses ink and quills and paper anymore. We don't take and dip our little feathers in the ink and write on a piece of paper and mail it. We post on social media, because that's just what you do nowadays. So the Second Amendment covers AR-15s, because we don't use powder and ball and cap muskets to defend our homes or to go deer hunting. Now, granted, some people do use them for deer hunting. It's still a very popular thing. Most states do have muzzle loader season, but that's just more of a sport thing. The one shot, hey, I'm going to get them in one shot. If I don't, I miss. So the Second Amendment does cover AR-15s, and it also covers muskets. But the Second Amendment covers whatever time period you're in. And let's get into that hunting thing for a minute. Everybody says you don't need an AR-15 with a 100-round drum mag, or a 100-round dual drum mag, and a bump stock to take down a deer or to shoot a duck. This is true, but the Second Amendment nowhere says anything about hunting. Let's go over the Second Amendment again. It says a well-regulated militia. A well-regulated militia, meaning armed like military, trained like military. That is what a militia is. Being necessary to the security, the protection of a free state. The right and the people to keep and bear arms. Okay? That means that you can own them, you can carry them, and you can use them for your security. says shall not be infringed. Okay, so it says a well-regulated militia. So militia, as we all know, is a military-like organization of people armed like military personnel and trained like military personnel. And that's the thing we get into here. The Second Amendment was written to protect us, ourselves, our loved ones, our family, our property, our freedoms and our liberties, and our lives from enemies both foreign and domestic, meaning that it was written so that we could have weapons equal to or greater than those used by the U.S. government. So the U.S. government, the most common weapon used by our armed forces, our ground combat troops, is the M4A1 assault rifle. That is a assault rifle that is a 5.56, comes with a standard 30 round magazine, a detachable magazine, and it fires 5.56. So that means that we should have something equal to or greater than the M4A1. Meaning an AR-15, because simply put, the AR-15 is the civilian predecessor of the M4A1 or the M16 rifle, however you want to look at it. That's what it is. And AR-15, as the media would have you believe, the AR in AR-15 does not stand for Assault Rifle 15. It stands for Armalite Rifle. Armalite Rifle. Armalite invented the AR-15 design for civilians. That's what the rifle was meant for. People like me, people like you, to have it, to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, to go hunting, to protect ourselves from people who may want to harm us, and just to own it. Because you got to admit, the AR-15 is an awesome gun. I mean, I've had the opportunity in my lifetime to shoot a bunch of guns. I've shot an AR-15. I've shot my shotgun here, my rifles that I own and stuff. And it's a fun gun to have, and it's a civilian weapon. It is not a military weapon. A military weapon is the M4A1. The AR-15 is the civilian version, okay? And as I said, this gun was made for civilians to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. Because let's go back to when the Constitution of the United States of America was written. What had just happened? Why had we written this Constitution? Well, we had just overthrown a government that we thought was tyrannical. You know, they were crazy. They wanted to take our guns. They wanted to make us pay high taxes. They wanted to control us. They wanted to say who we could worship, all this and that. So we wrote the Constitution so that we would never have to deal with this again. And we wrote the Second Amendment so that no government could ever take our weapons away again, because we had just had them taken away and we had to get them back to win our freedom. So that's why the Second Amendment was written, to say no government that runs you, that is for you, the people of the United States of America, can take your weapons again, because that is not right. That's why the Second Amendment was written, to protect us from ever having any of our weapons taken away. Because in the United States, not only can you own an AR-15, and this is where people just make me go crazy. They think the AR-15 is one of the most deadly weapons in the world, one of the most deadly weapons that a U.S. citizen can own. And most of them don't realize that with proper permits and stamps and papers, you can own an M60, which is a light machine gun that fires a 30 caliber round, for those of you who don't know, which is fully automatic and does a lot more damage than an AR-15. Hey, this right here does a lot more damage than an AR-15. A 12 gauge shotgun, sure, it's pump action. You can get them in semi and fully automatic. But a 12 gauge shotgun can do way more damage than an AR-15 due to the versatility of the ammunition attachments and, as I said, and firing capabilities, because you can get them in pump action, single shot, semi-automatic, and fully automatic. So no, the AR-15 is not the most deadly weapon. So let's get into the next topic. What happens if you ban the AR-15? Let's say it happens. It's already happened in Florida. Well, not necessarily banned in Florida, but now you have to be 21 to buy it. Bump stocks are banned, and I'm sure they're going to be going after large capacity magazines next. So what happens if you ban the AR-15? The only thing that's going to happen is that the civilians who need it to protect themselves from a tyrannical government and those who would try to hurt us are going to be without it. The criminals will not be without it. You say, yes, they will. Okay. Have you never heard of the black market? Have you never heard of any kind of drug that has been banned? Because those are still everywhere. You can still get those pretty easily. And if you banned it, you won't keep it out of the hands of criminals, because criminals don't walk into a gun store and say, hey, let me get that AR-15 right there. No, because they don't want a registered weapon. They go to some guy who has connections from, other countries or whatever, or connections to some kind of gang or whatever, and they say, hey, look, I need you to get me this. And that's how they get it, illegally. They don't walk into Walmart and say, yeah, let me get that AR-15 right there and 100 rounds of 5.56 or 223, and let me get that 100-round box mag or that 100-round dual drum mag. Oh, and let me get that bump fire stock. No, they get it illegally. So banning it will simply only take it away from the citizens who need it and who can rightfully own it, whether the government says we can or not, because the government cannot change the Second Amendment. That's where the last 4 words come into play. Shall not be infringed. Means the government cannot take it from us, whether they want to or not. Okay? That's pretty much it, guys. That's all I got for y'all today, is the fact that the AR-15 is a God-given right, because the Second Amendment covers modern-day weapons and past history weapons, as well as the First Amendment covers Facebook, and it covers ink, quill, and paper. So, eventually if they keep doing this, we all know what's going to happen. It's going to lead to a second civil war. That's pretty much the reason the Second Amendment was written, so that if anything happens, we can have our guns and protect ourselves from a government who would try to disarm us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below on your opinions. Like, subscribe, share, favorite, and I'll see you guys in the next one.